Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Center for University Research Lecture. Our topic for today is Sona 2022 to 2023, a comparative and content analysis study using NVIVO14. So this study focuses on analyzing and comparing various aspects of data collected during the period from 2022 to 2023 using NVIVO14. The primary objective of the study is to gain insights into the changes, trends, and patterns that have emerged over this time frame using advanced qualitative analysis techniques. Before we start, we would like to acknowledge our participants from University of Antique. We also have from Accenture, UP Manila, MATS College of Technology, NAGA College Foundation Incorporated, and WowLeap Incorporated. We also have from DepEd, and of course our colleagues from the University of Makati. So for those who I have not mentioned, you can type in your institution where you're affiliated from in the chat box. Okay, so just a few reminders to all our attendees for today. Please ensure that you have accomplished the evaluation form to receive your certificate. We will send the link before the lecture ends. Please also make sure that your microphones are on mute unless you are recognized to speak. Feel free to use the chat box if you have questions. So let us officially start our lecture for today. And to give us his welcome remarks, allow me to call on the Director of the University of Makati Center for University Research, Director Florante E. de los Santos.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So good afternoon. Today is I think this is the 8th of series of lectures on research. And it is good that everybody is here to listen once again on some ways by which we can do more research and more effectively at that, okay? We know that qualitative analysis tends to focus on the questions of how and why, rather than the more quantitative perspectives of how many and how often, okay? Today's topic has to do with the use of NVIVO software. You know well that when you enter into that application, when you use that software, it can be a bit daunting. That's why we, in the Center for University Research, we like to conduct more and more lectures on these so that we will be able to know how to use NVIVO. And one way by which we can use this software is by comparing or by analyzing content. For example, in this particular instance, the speech of our president, Bongbong Marcos. And we thank our research consultant, Dr. Nicamil Sanchez, who would help us explore on the use of NVIVO in analyzing the Sona and comparing the second Sona with the first one. In this particular way, we will be able to know that, hey, the use of NVIVO is actually more fun. And we will learn it today, you know, straight from the mouth of our research consultant, Dr. Nicamil Sanchez. And I will also like to invite everybody that please make use of the software that we have, our subscription, no? the NVIVO, so that more and more faculty members and employees will use this software in doing qualitative research and mixed methods as well. And so we welcome you all. I welcome you all to this eighth lecture on research. Welcome po.
Thank you, Sir Rante. At this point, allow me to introduce our lecturer. Our esteemed lecturer is a highly accomplished individual with an impressive academic and professional background. Dr. Sanchez holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree from the Australian Catholic University, showcasing his commitment to academic excellence and research. In recognition of his outstanding leadership abilities, he was awarded the Australian Leadership Awards Scholarship. His expertise extends beyond academia, as he had the privilege of being an academic visitor at Oxford University through the Aged Fellowship. Additionally, he obtained a postgraduate diploma in gerontology and geriatrics from the University of Malta, with masters in public management from the Development Academy of the Philippines, attained as a Ramon Magsaysay Scholar. Our lecturer possesses a comprehensive understanding of management and development in the public sector. He completed his undergraduate studies with a bachelor's degree in social work from Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, establishing a strong foundation in social sciences. Adding to his impressive portfolio, our lecturer serves as the CEO of Philippine Consortium Incorporated, showcasing his practical experience and leadership in the field. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Nicamil Sanchez. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mark, for the very kind introduction. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Pleasant afternoon, everyone, and thank you for your time for attending our research lecture. So let's rock and roll, Mark. So if you, for you to be acknowledged, please type in your details in our chat box. So Mark will acknowledge you and your university. Thank you. So I believe all of you have listened, watched, and read the Sona, the first and the second Sona of our president. So second is we wanted to analyze the text, the content, and we wanted to compare the first and second Sona using NVIVO14. Okay, so we heard the comments, analysis of our experts. Now let's look through the content of the first and second Sona and compare it. So can you see my presentation, Sir Mark? Not yet.
Ma'am Lorne, may ganito rin.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
May
great.
ganun pala dito.
We would like to call
Lore,
the presence
hindi ko alam. Kasi
Director
di ba
of
sila, di ba?
University
Kasi
of
ako ng RER.
Kasi
Center for
baccalaureate.
University Research, Director Comparative.
Dahil baccalaureate ngayon.
Yung ano.
I think
Ayan na. Kailangan mapalitan ng pangalan.
Take it
niya.
away, sir. Yes, we do, sir.
okay, first is great. So this will be the outline of my presentation for 45 minutes. And then we will open the floor for any questions or inputs about the findings. So this is the outline. So we'll focus on looking at content analysis of the first and second sonnet. We do comparative analysis and we'll provide some conclusions. As we all know, it's a general knowledge that the Sona is patterned with the State of the Nation address in the US. It's enshrined in our Constitution Basically, it provides vision, mission, goals, and objectives of the administration in terms of addressing our problems or concerns. And if you read others honest, it provides you with the monitoring and evaluation indicators. And you could hear the policy and the program priorities of our government, of our president. And if you hear the comments and inputs, there are some biases in the analysis. So in a qualitative analysis, especially if analyzing the content, the most important thing are three areas, which is uh, trustworthiness of your data, the quality of your analysis, and the rigor. So let's see how NVIVO14, which is the latest version of the software, will will analyze using this software. We will do the content analysis at the same time the comparative analysis. What is the objective of my study? The objective here is we wanted to analyze the content and compare the first and second station address. The methodology is we do a content and comparative analysis using NVIVO14. The analysis will be based on the geographic allocation. We wanted to find out the themes, the top 20 keywords, and the comparative analysis. And we will show you the word frequency, the word tree, the word cloud, project map, samplers, frequency table, and all the visualizations that NVIVO14 Plus can produce. So the scope is we just analyze the first and second Sona. So when we did the analysis on the first Sona 2022, it shows us the word cloud. So the word cloud provides us with the key words or the most common words mentioned by our president. As you observe, he gave emphasis on the first Sona on the system, the development, department, governance, and you see keywords like reform, railway, energy, technology, digital. So these are the main focus of the first Sona. You could see the recent small word, policy, foreign, industry. So this is the analysis of the first Sona. And if you look at the frequency count in the content analysis, you wanted to do the ranking or quantify qualitative data, you could see the most common word mentioned by the president is government. He mentioned it 25 times. So the focus of the first Sona is more on bureaucracies, addressing bureaucracies, given that he mentioned it 25 times together with the department 22 times. Next is the national Philippines, and you have system. So we give a emphasis on the system approach. You will analyze it. Development, the issue about power is very important at the first one. The reform, the country, and the growth and the economy. So these are the top words or keywords mentioned during the first one, which is could be translated into the priorities. When we did the analysis on the themes from the first Sona, these are the main themes emerging, which is agrarian reform, beneficiaries. So the focus of the first Sona is focused on agrarian reform, followed by the budget, capacity. He mentioned the word disaster. Okay. And if you see on the right side is the bar graph of the 2022 Sona. So it mentioned the word supply is one of the main themes. Tax system, technology. So we analyzed this one using the NVIVO14. And if you wanted to do a tree map of the Sona 2022, the larger the box, it was commonly mentioned, or it is the focus of the Sona. He mentioned system, transaction, sources, programs. He identified railway, investment, capacity, technology, the market, the industry. He mentioned the rights, which is important, property and agrarian reform as the key focus or the key main key words of the first one. When we talk about and we did in-depth analysis of about what's the meaning of system in the first sonnet. The first sonnet talks about the neutral tax system, the taxation, followed by the railway system, government system, communication systems, the water supply, which were mentioned, and the healthcare system, educational system, and the 12 school system. So when the president talks about system, it focuses on these key, I call it codes. Uh, when the president talks about development, okay, the three map or the key words are infrastructure development, the rapid development, basic developments, economic, external and strategic development targets. So these are the key focus of development in the first one. When we did Sunburst and look at other factors or words, I'm quite amazed that in terms of transaction, the first one focuses on online transaction, internet transaction, real property transaction. Those are the key issues. When we talk about power, the president talks about wind, solar, geothermal, insufficient, nuclear power, and power sources. So these are the codes when we talk about power, when the first one talks about power. When we talk about supply, the president talks about energy supply, water supply, food supply, fresh water supply, insufficient power supply, and reliable supply of all supply. And when he talks about agrarian reform, it follows by agrarian reform law that the program and agrarian reforms, administration reforms. So it's just like when he talks about reforms, these are the key concepts about reforms. We did some sentiment analysis of the first one, and you see it's based, the scope is based, we just analyze the first one. They have the moderately positive, very positive, moderately negative, and very negative statement. Okay. Uh, there's no you. We put the data inside the NVIVO14 and the NVIVO14 did the sentiment analysis and identifying the positive, very positive, moderately negative, and very negative. When you go to the second sauna, you see the focus is more into you have the economy right now, government is the same, development. Surprisingly, he mentioned education as one of the important key priorities in the second sauna. Business, the prices, you have presyo, you have employment, the health system, the code, and the job system services. Okay, so you could see some shift from first to the second sauna in terms of priorities. When I did some content analysis on the first one, the second sauna focuses on digitalization. So focus on technology, infrastructure, focus on international relations, the importance of connectivity, which is related to digitalization, the development, the importance of investments, competitive governance, just the same. And we have technology facilities and healthcare. So you see the ranking in terms of the number of times it was mentioned by the president. So you see there's a similarities and there are some words that has been given focus on the first and the second son. So when the thematic analysis, you could see that you could see the highlighted words like center, connectivity, digital, the concerns about drag, and education was mostly mentioned in the second song. Government is just the same, healthcare system, and the importance of investment. So you see that there's now a difference of the priorities, but there are also similarities in the first and second. When we did some trima, so it means that the larger the box, it was commonly mentioned. You see that you could see projects right now are much focused. Projects, programs are mentioned, mostly mentioned. The importance of digital connectivity, the concerns about tax systems, investment, healthcare, energy, so production, development. So these are the key words that are commonly mentioned in the second SONA. So the SONA, second SONA also give importance on the importance of security. Okay, fiscal fiscal reforms. You mentioned the word drugs. So you see the changing SONA priorities, and we have analyzed it more in depth when we talk about projects in the second SONA. The second SONA means it's flagship projects, the water supply projects. You know, water is very important in this presidency because it was mentioned in the first and second SONA. He emphasizes on the 6 to 8 grid connection projects, the railway projects, the high priority projects, and the bio-approved investment projects. When we talk about programs, the second SONA mentioned about surprisingly nursing education programs, social programs, livelihood programs, youth employment programs, build better, more program, the nutrition and convergence program. Okay. So when we further analyze different themes in terms of connectivity, it's just the same. Digital, physical connectivity, the 68 grid connectivity projects was mentioned in the second SONA. The importance of public infrastructure, physical connectivity. When we talk about taxes, he mentioned paying taxes, essential tax measures, and excise tax. So if we talk about the concerns about tax, we will talk about the concern about water, he mentioned about the water supply, resources, and security. And if we mention about investments, the second SONA focuses on the importance of having a strategic investment, the bio of group investments, the investment decisions, the, the public investments. So these are the key concerns about investments. Okay. So when we did some analysis of the 2022 and 2023, so we have combined the two SONAs and we did a thematic analysis. We wanted to find out the top 20 themes among this one. If you see that, if you talk about agrarian reform, okay, it's just like it was mentioned mostly in 2022, but it significantly goes down in 2023. We talk about center, so it's now key priorities in 2023. And climate. In terms of development, it's mostly mentioned in 2022, and it significantly goes down in 2023 in terms of numbers of times it was mentioned. But surprisingly, you have digital technology was commonly mentioned as was new priorities by 2023. Okay, and you have energy from 2020 to 2023 slightly goes down in terms of how many times energy was mentioned in the SONA. And you have government infrastructure is just roughly the same times it was mentioned during the first and second SONA. You have the internet, which was given priority in the 2023 SONA, and the concern about investments. In terms of policy, the concerns about policies were mentioned mostly in 2022 compared to 2023. And the concerns about power was the same. Production was same mentioned. Programs and projects, you see there is an increased number of times it was mentioned in 2022 and 2023. And the importance of recovery, the revenue is given importance in 2023. The sector is commonly mentioned in 2022, and there's a significantly, it went down on 2023, followed by the sector, services, systems. So, the focus of this one is more on the systems approach. It was commonly given priority on 2022. It slightly go down 2023. And the tax and the water. Okay? You see, the water concerns is commonly mentioned at the same time and the first and the second. So these are the top 20 keywords. And these are the word clouds. So the importance of department, government, power, development, energy, railway and technology, digital, economic, system, reform, healthcare. So these are the main top 20 keywords from our Sona 2022. And these are the top 20 keywords of our Sona 2023. So you see that the business we mentioned, the prices, economy. So you now see the differences and some similarities. So the common are development, government, okay, employment, technology, so foreign railway. So you see now the shifting focus towards prices, there's a business concern, services, and financial concerns. And looking at the top 20 Sona, combining the 2022 and 2023 Sona, you see the same time the similarities, the development, government, department, technology, national, economic services programs, projects, economy, digital, system, energy, and growth. So these are the key top 20 keywords from both Sona 1 and Sona 2. And looking at the findings or analyzing the findings per geographical area, yes, we analyzed and we do text search about Manila or Metro Manila, and these are the findings. So Manila was commonly mentioned in 2022, but surprisingly, it was not mentioned in 2023. So in terms of concerns or in the Sona statement, the Sona wanted to address the bottleneck in the Manila area airport. So focuses on the bottleneck in the Manila area airport. And then it focuses on the commuter railway system. So it focuses on the 33-kilometer Metro Manila railway system. And it focuses on the economic growth outside Metro Manila. So if we talk about Manila on 2022, the airport, the bottleneck or the traffic, and how to facilitate economic growth outside of Metro Manila, the subway project. When we talk about, we did a search from Luzon. So comparison, in 2022, Manila was mentioned by the president. And in 2023, Luzon was mentioned by the president in the second sonnet. It was not mentioned in the first sonnet. When we talk about Luzon in the Sona, it focuses on distribution of agricultural lands, national grid, 1,200-kilometer Luzon sa Visayas and Mindanao grids, and energizing 20% of Luzon's Spine Expressway Network program. So the Spine Expressway Network program, as mentioned, is in 2023, but not in 2022. And we did some text search about Visayas. So in the Visayas area, it was mentioned in the second Sona. It was not mentioned in the first Sona. So it focuses on the three key areas: the Mindanao Grid or the One Grid One Market, eligibility of LARD awards, so it's agricultural land distribution in the Visayas area, and the unified national grid with the interconnection of the Luzon, Visayas, and the city. So you see the focus is on the grid, the distribution of agrarian reform land, and the one grid, one market project when we talk about Visayas. When the Sona talks about Mindanao, it's good that the first Sona mentioned it once and the second Sona mentioned it thrice. So when we talk about Mindanao, it also talks about the grid, the Panay interconnections up to Mindanao, uh, the housing project in Mindanao, the Guan grid and one market, the grid connection, and surprisingly, it connects the 102-kilometer Mindanao Railway project. So it mentions about the project, the distribution of agrarian reform one, the interconnections, and housing program. When we search about education, one of our favorite is education. It was mostly mentioned in 2023. If you see, there's a significant increase in the second one compared to the first one. And when we talk about education, it focuses on the higher education, tertiary, the Matatag agenda for basic education, maritime education. It focuses on the medical and nursing education, vocational education. So what are the hindrances to the education? And surprisingly, food education, rehabilitation education, and was mentioned if we talk about education. So, and there's a connection between education and the integration to curb drug dependency or drug growth. So, you see the connection. So, surprisingly, it was given focus on it was given focus on 2023 SONA compared to the first SONA. And research about research. So if you see, it was only mentioned once in the second SONA. You see, the focus of research is the statement is they will undertake research in various priority fields and will be supported by accredited facilities and R&D funding. So it connects it with the Balik Scientists program when we talk about research on at the second SONA. So it was only mentioned in the second SONA, the word research. Research about peace. And surprisingly, it was only mentioned in the second SONA. When I talk about peace, it focuses on partnerships, building, and peace and order. Be more effective in maintaining peace and order development, the progress towards peace. So, interest of country for peace and progress, peace in Southern Philippines, the importance of having a true and lasting peace, and relentless in our operation of peace. So these are the key words connected with the keyword with the word peace. So you see the focus when we talk about peace and order. In our analysis, 2022 mentioned in terms of poverty poor. 2022 mentioned poverty rate. Okay. While in 2020 to 2023 mentioned how to address poor Filipinos. So these are the analysis, the text search. So in the first SONA, you see that the statistics of 99% of single-digit poverty rate. But in the 2020 to 2023, it mentioned how we will address the poor in terms of agricultural production, enhance healthcare, and continue social programs of the vulnerable. And the horror stories that we heard about the poor Filipinos in terms of nutrition concerns. So it gives emphasis connected, it connects it with nutrition programs and the quality of education materials program. Okay. So you see the connection between poor in terms of nutrition, in terms of education, and the importance of healthcare, agriculture production, and social purpose. When we talk about poor in the second sauna. When we talk about health, so in the first one it was mentioned 10 times. In the second one it was mentioned 9 times. So when you talk about that, it means that it's about public health. Okay, it mentioned the nurses and licensed allied, the importance of having a reserve corps, the COVID health, refocusing our DOH, the concerns about digital connectivity, the emergency management bureau, and the centers, and it identified the health emergency allowance, the health facilities, the health insurance for people, and the national disease preventions and the health protocols and health workers. So these are the key words or the key priorities when we talk about health based on the first and second one. When we talk about the military, it focuses on the disability benefits, focuses on the military and road users tax, military and uniform personnel, okay, the pension, the structure of the armed forces. So these are the key areas when we talk about, we prioritize when we talk about military, it's about the pension, the structure, the taxes, the MUPs. So it was mentioned twice in the first and in the second. When we talk about infrastructure, so it's about infrastructure development. It was mostly mentioned in the first one, 8 times, followed by it was mentioned 6 times in the second one. It's about infrastructure development, the capacity. It's about, if you talk about infrastructure, the Sona will mention the program of the third administration, spending, the build better, more connected with infrastructure and the continuing growth. Okay, so it is considered as the backbone of the economy, the investment in public infrastructure, okay, the planned expansion of public infrastructure. So these are the physical connectivity infrastructure development. So these are the key words or the key areas when we talk about infrastructure. We did a search or analyze the concerns about higher education. The concerns about higher education was mentioned in the second song twice, or the word higher education. So so it mentions the statistics of 50% of beneficiaries of the country pre-higher education. So focuses on have reached world-class stature. So it focuses also on the TESDA, technical vocational, and focuses on the universal access for the quality. So if you talk about quality education, it mentioned 50% of where the beneficiaries the country's free education and access to quality, and the focus right now is have reached world-class status. So there's a focus of higher education based on the SANA. And in search about vocational education, but we haven't found anything. But when we search about TESDA, it was mentioned 3 times in the second one. So when we talk about TESDA, it is interconnected with different agencies like SWD, DOLE, CHED, tumutulong sa ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan. It also covers or identify IX from the SWD. You have the ICT in terms of TESDA and curricula and programs. So it focuses on the interconnection among government agencies in terms of promoting vocational studies. So the importance of partnerships. So as I analyze it, so when we go about additional findings, we could search a lot of keywords and analyze it, but I've given some analysis on comparing. For example, when you search about corruption, corruption was mentioned only in 2023. It was not mentioned in 2022, even if you type in a synonym of corruption. The focus of corruption or addressing corruption in 2023 is digitalization will support the government. So it's more focused on digitalization and addressing corruption. And science-based planning and decision making. Business of is of doing business. So these are the key focuses. The key focus on addressing corruption is through digitalization and ease of doing business based on Sona. It also focuses on unscrupulous law enforcers and concerns about drug trades and the resignations of the police officers, if you will see, and having trustworthy and effective government people handling the task of meeting the threat of progressive social first. And he gave emphasis on these statements, and I quote, "We cannot tolerate corruption or incompetence in government," and end of quote, based on the second one. When we talk about disaster, it was commonly mentioned. It was mentioned 5 times in the first Sona and twice in the second Sona. So you see the similarities and differences. In the first Sona, so it focuses on, if you see the keywords, disaster resilience, the importance of investment in science and technology in forecasting disaster alerts. The disaster-proof planning of our communities, he analyzed it based on the importance of instituting ROTC program as a mandatory component senior high school, grade 11 and 12, in terms of disaster preparedness and capacity building. In SONA 2023, the statement focuses on the constructions of schools and facilities retrofitted to become ready for the future. So it identifies the Ed partnership, assistant portal, high-tech learning, the climate-ready disaster proof. And it also identifies rehabilitation improvement of schools. So the focus of disaster is on schools on the second zone. And the importance of preparation in the disaster response. And I quote, "It has in fact been commented that sometimes we are over-prepared for such natural disasters. To continue that, we are reorganizing our response teams to make them more adaptable, agile, and effective in times of calamities and crises with a clear unity of command." So it gives emphasis on the importance of having effective response teams in disasters for this SONA 2022. I've identified some list of findings and my conclusions, but we'll be sharing with you our presentation so you could analyze more and do some content analysis, comparative analysis. So these are some of the list of findings that I've seen. Corruption was not mentioned in 2022, but was included in 2023, focusing on digitalization and appointment of personal integrity and addressing incompetency in government. So these are the two key areas in addressing corruption based on the SONA, the second SONA. Agrarian reform were mostly mentioned in the system approach. It was the focus of the first and SONA. So the strategy of the first and second SONA, especially if you will analyze it of this for government, is more on the system approach. And it highlighted the importance of agrarian reform. Surprisingly, in 2023, or the recent SONA, agrarian reform was not mentioned in the SONA. Okay. Disaster proofing, if you'll see, it was both mentioned in the first and second SONA. The how-to is really wanted to see the how-to, because in the second SONA, it identified the disaster response, the importance of having a disaster response, and importance it identified having disaster-proof schools and rehabilitation center. If we analyze the connection between the first and second SONA, there's three key aspects about the continuity, accomplishments, evaluation. So Metro Manila and Mindanao was mentioned in both SONA, while Visayas and Luzon were mentioned in the second SONA. The common themes, on the SONA, if they will mention Visayas and Luzon is the Mindanao or the geographical area is the one grade one market. Okay. And the big ticket like the Luzon Spine Express Network, the Panay Railway, and the Mindanao Railway. If we talk about health, these are the priorities. The center, keywords, care, emergency, insurance, professionals, protocols, workers, and we need to refocus the intervention. We need to ask ourselves what's next, what will be the next priorities in the next one, and how to determine or analyze the continuity of policies and programs mentioned in the first and second one. Maybe identify the responsible government agencies, as we all know, or the statement of Bates, first and second SONA focuses on the total government approach. Because if the president talks about or mention one specific program or project or policy, he will mention different governments, agencies to respond to these concerns. So it's about more on the total government approach. How to develop SONA monitoring evaluation? I think we have already developed it. We just need to continue how to monitor and evaluate SONA based on research, based on how different concerned government agencies will perform in addressing the SONA priorities of our president. And we need to focus on how to implement the SONA priorities of the president based on the keywords that he mentioned during the first and second SONA, or the key priorities or represented by the keywords. And the need for prioritization investments. So the second SONA focuses more on the investment prioritization business sector. So identifying the gaps in implementation status of first, second SONA. Well, a big help for us. So the president and the government needs our help in identifying those gaps in terms of the implementation status. The government cannot do it alone, so it's very important participation of the people. And what do you want to hear in the next SONA? Maybe we could have we could do ask us as our children, as school children, what do they want to hear in the next SONA, or our experts in terms of shifting those priorities. And in conclusion, I have 5 O's when I'm analyzing the first and second SONA using NVIVO14. 5 O's means open. We need to have open government, as we all know. We need to have a system how people can share their inputs, do some scrutiny, and provide some research findings for president, for the government agencies concerned in retooling or reanalyzing their SONA priorities and SONA accomplishment in terms of identifying those scopes. The third SONA could be one way for the president in showing how government have operationalized those first and second SONA priorities. So we need to have an output indicators. So it's very important in knowing where we are now and where we are going in terms of our SONA priorities. At the outcome-based evaluation, based on rigorous research, is very important whether it will have an impact in terms of one way to determine whether we need to shift our priorities to other concerns in the third SONA. And this SONA will be an avenue for us to have those opportunities, build opportunities for self-reliance and community development. I think that's one of the main key mission of SONA is promote self-reliance and community development and build opportunities for everyone. With that, I would like to thank you for your time, and thank you to our team, the Center for University Research of the University of Makati, the Director Florante, Mark, Carl, Vincent, and yours truly. And if you have any questions, we're now open for any questions.
and editors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Nick. So the floor is now open for your questions. You can type in your questions in the chat box, or you may also click on the raise hand button if you wish to speak. I believe there's a comment from our CUR director, Director Florante. He said, I didn't actually listen to both Sona 1 and 2 by the president, but uploading the long speeches to NVIVO allowed me to understand the gist of both Sonas. It is now easier for me to grasp what the president talked about and which are his priority projects and concerns. I can now visualize, reflect, or even write about them with confidence. I'm saying the use of the software is not only useful for whatever purposes, but it's also fun, a bit daunting, but as they say, no pain, no gain. To help us appreciate qualitative analysis, I'm negotiating a training workshop on qualitative research with the DLSU team to be held here at UMAC face-to-face on September 12, 2023. It's a whole day event, but URC can only accommodate a limited number of participants. We'll update everyone on this week before the event. Thank you, Dr. Nicamil, and happy and Vivo Wing. So basically, everyone, we have a software. One of the research tools that we are using is NVivo, and it's very helpful if you're doing qualitative research. So it's part of the policy as part of the research tools that we are using. You can, of course, avail the service that we offer if you have a qualitative research. And apart from it, we are launching an event. We are facilitating an event in September 12th. So please watch out for the announcement. It's a whole day event as what our director mentioned earlier. And we have, thank you, Sir Rante. We have a question from Sir Mateo Macalaging. So Doc Dick, is the NVivo multi-language in reception of narratives? Thanks. I believe he's asking if NVivo can detect multiple languages.
Yes. So it depends if you're focused on writing in an English journal. You need to translate those words into English, especially the transcripts, and then you could put it in envelope, and the software can analyze it. So, so one important thing is through the software, it promotes quality, rigor, and trustworthiness of your data, and it prevents biases in analysis. And you have at the same time, you could quantify qualitative data. If you see the number of times, the ranking, you could do the ranking using the software and count those keywords.
All right, thank you. Any more questions? We have questions. It was I have a couple of questions, sir. It was sent privately. Were there any specific challenges daw po you face while conducting the comparative analysis using NVIVO14?
In what aspect? The I think it really provides me an in-depth analysis on the priorities of the Sona first and second, and you could make your own analysis based on data. It's a fun journey at the same time. Because if you will observe in the analysis of Sona, if you will just watch in the TV, you will be much more influenced by 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 politicians, by those who have been interviewed. So if you see last time when I watched the Sona after the analysis, they just analyzed a Twitter post. So we wanted to analyze the whole person's second song, the whole statements. Basically, a challenge with the qualitative analysis, really how will you prevent biases? So it's good that you could identify the keywords mentioned by the president and the focus of the first and second one and make this comparison based on data. That's a difference between having in-depth analysis and then analyze and do your conclusions rather than go straight and doing your conclusions without the basis or the findings. Because in a research, really, your conclusions will be based on your findings. Because unlike here, anyone can make conclusions without identifying the findings. So very important to build the conclusion. I think I don't know if I answer a question. And always be happy, smile if you're faced with challenges.
Okay, thank you. How to report po the paper? As a question po ni Sir Mateo, similar to traditional quali things. How to report po the paper? What do you mean report po the paper, or to generate po ba yung yung thesis?
The usual MRAD, the
Okay.
Okay. That's a good question, Sir Mateo. First is if you wanted to publish the paper, look at the requirements of the journal publications. Usually they will provide us with the protocols or requirements in terms of publishing paper. It really depends on the journal that we wanted to publish. So second is in terms of presenting our quality data, I have not written it as an article, so that will be this project. So I started it here. Just wanted to present the findings and get their inputs so I could include the article that I've been writing. Third is usually social sciences uses APA in terms of referencing. Just follow how the suggestion of APA in terms of presenting those findings with free math or word cloud. So usually in an article, they will, given the limited number of words, they will not include those visuals in the article. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more questions from our attendees? Thematic still daw, sir. Sabi ni Sir Mateo.
Yes, sir. It could report it as a thematic analysis. You have the teams, you have, I call it the parent and child needs.
Okay. Any more questions? Before we end our lecture. At this point, I just want to inform everyone, all our attendees, if you wish to avail our NVIVO service, we actually prepared a QR code po. You can see that on our Facebook page. It's UMAC Center for University Research. So once you capture the code or the link that's posted on our FB page, you will find the instructions on how you can upload your document and the requirements for us to run your data through NVIVO. And it has a fee associated with availing the service. It's in there as well. All right. So if there's no questions, may we request everyone to please turn on your camera for photo ops lang po tayo for documentation. Okay, please turn on your cam, everyone, for documentation. Okay, so first slide po. Carl, let me know if... Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Smile,
Second slide po.
smile,
Smile everyone. Say research.
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 Okay, thank you. Before we end our session, just to conclude, you know what, guys? By employing NVIVO14, it's actually a powerful qualitative data analysis tools that we are able to efficiently manage, organize, and analyze large volumes of textual, visual, and audio data. So audio data rin po pwede. So the software aids in identifying themes, concepts, and relationships within the data, allowing for a deeper understanding of the subject matter. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'll post the evaluation link for you to get your certificate. It's already there. And thank you once again, and see you on our next session po. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you po.
Thank you so much po.